And it's Glittering Ashes for game number 1, ladies and gentlemen, in the bottom left-hand corner. From Dragon Phoenix Gaming, it is Hero. And in the top right, Team NV managed to get the win against Trap. He's already had his warm-up with PVZ. It's DRG. Hero does end up missing there, the hatchery block, which of course is a bit unfortunate. You always like to delay the Zerg as much as possible at the opening, as we're going to see the drone and probe micro. Ooh. DRG messes up. Hero messes up the drone, and therefore has won this bout of wits and scholarly skill. But we're out of Glittering Ashes for another PVZ. And again, this is the map where DRG pretty much rushed Broodlords and then said, alright bro, attack me. And then Trap did, and DRG said, not good enough. Haha. It's going to be interesting. Of course, I don't think that Hero has the same style as Trap. I think Hero and Trap are as different as players like, what's the best? Oh, I was trying to think of a Terran equivalent, but I couldn't really think of one off the top of my head. I would say they're as different as something like Special and Maru. You know, where obviously Special has a lot of really interesting build orders. He has a lot of really creative ideas on how to play matchups. And he can be very aggressive, very cheesy. He can really mix it all up. Maru usually plays a set kind of style that he knows works, and a few builders that he knows work well. As I only just now realized how gross the Zergling looks. Like, I have my graphics just high enough that Zergling tail is absolutely disgusting. Anyway. But yeah, Hero and Trap, very, very different styles of PVZ. We are going to be seeing the Stargate opening, so of course both of them preferring that. And again, it's PVZ, so there's only so much innovation and kind of stylistic kind of play that you can have when you are playing this matchup. Just because the Stargate again is the best. It's the best building that you can get early on. You need those units. Now, of course, the big difference is, hey, Hero, he goes into a Void Ray. The Void Ray, even though it takes longer to build, it just means that it is a little bit weaker when it comes to being all-in and when it comes to you doing a cheese. The overall power of the unit has stayed the same, and so it is still very, very good when you just want to be defensive, when you're trying to stay at home and secure yourself a fast third base. The Void Ray is still one of the best units that you can get, and we're going to see it immediately followed up with an Oracle, so Hero will have that option of scouting across the map. He will have that early game control. This just means that, hey, you get a very, very early Nexus. That's a 345 Nexus from Hero, and he's really sitting pretty. He knows that there's nothing that can happen that's going to really threaten him until about probably the 5-minute mark, where you can see, you know, maybe a Nidus Worm starting to be an option. And DRG has actually shown a propensity that he is absolutely willing to go for a Nidus. Actually did that in his GSL run, in his GSL group versus Classic. And that's a builder that I would like to see again. It's going to be double Stargate here from Hero, and I think he's going to go into double Stargate Phoenix, which is definitely a very much a variation on this play. I mean, usually you'd see double Stargate Void Ray, double Stargate immediately into, if you're like a Zest, immediately into the Fleet Beacon tech. But no, it's going to be double Stargate Phoenix, which I have not seen in PVZ in a while. So I'm going to be interested to see how this ends up playing out. Because, of course, right now, DRG has the scouting information that it's a Void Ray into an Oracle. That's standard. He just played against Trap, though, who's very willing to transition it into a ground game. And so there's absolutely a situation where DRG might be expecting that. And he's not going to be expecting 6 Phoenix to fly across the map. So we'll see how Hero ends up using these Phoenix. Of course, you can use them to dive into mineral lines, pick off queens. Also can just pick off overlords and try and supply block your opponent. But I like this. Hallucinates a Phoenix, sends it over. Oh, look at this. I'm not going for air units. I need a hallucinated Phoenix to scout out because he doesn't want to show. I mean, right now is not showing his Phoenix count. He's going up to 8 Phoenixes, and he has not shown DRG. He's going up to 10, and he has not given DRG any information that this is his tech. He has not moved out across the map with them. Only now will at 8. This is such an interesting way to play this build, and I want to know what the surprise is going to be. How is Hero going to jump here, DRG with this? Let's see. Here we go. Phoenix coming across the map, and what does DRG have? Well, 3 queens are immediately going to get caught out. 3 liftoffs. He has the extra energy for it, and he can start to focus down these queens with the Void Ray as well. So he's just going to focus on getting the value from these units, and all the queens are going to go down. As air weapons +1 has started up, and there's only a singular queen left, and all of these overlords are now under attack, as the Phoenix are going to have to be brought back. As this counterattack is coming on through, immediately a Ravager picked up this cannon, though, getting healed by the shield battery overcharge. That's actually massive. It's getting a ton of value, as this cannon is a hero cannon. It has gone 8 kills already. It finally goes down, but the Phoenix are back at home. They're going to be able to clean up the Ravagers. They have enough energy to pick up the Roaches. It is 14 Phoenix, and that counterattack does nothing. As Hero, surprise, Phoenix. And it is absolutely thrown DRG for a loop, as there's a Spire on the way. He wants to get into Corruptors, but already Void Rays have been started. Because Hero knows, he's like, hey, listen, I know you're going to want to get into Void Ray or into Corruptors. That's normal. But I'm not going to let you. I'm going to deal more damage than you can possibly recover from, as he's now going to look for the Worker Lines. Already 7 drones going down. 12 Phoenix still remain. Fleet Beacon on the way. This is so cool from Hero. As Queens are going to start to fall now. Corruptors are being produced, but 4 Corruptors versus 12 Phoenix, you still lose that fight. As drones are going to continue to go down, another Queen falls. A single Phoenix hasn't gone down in the course of this harassment, and 10 drones have fallen. And of course, the correct way to deal with Phoenix is just to drone up. Is just to make drones, and is to turtle up. And that's absolutely what DRG needs to do right now, because it's 66 workers to 63. But he's taken so much damage that I don't know if he's going to be able to have the luxury of sitting back and droning up. As it's 12 + 1 Phoenix, now Void Rays being added on. Flux Fanes for these Void Rays. And Hero has just perfectly read this situation. And Hero, he looks so good right now. God, Hero. Corruptors do get the immediate shot onto one of the Phoenix and knock it down. So they're not going to have as much freedom to roam around as they did before, but this is why you're building up the Void Ray count. As Hero, you have the money for it. That extra cost is not going to worry you. You don't need to get them out quickly, so you're just getting out the unit. It's still a good unit, and I mean, we're seeing how much this patch is changing things up. I mean, before you just wouldn't go Phoenix because the Void Ray was just a better unit to mass up early on. You really wouldn't see a build like this usually. And now charges on the way, additional gateways. So even though, Hero has a Fleet Beacon, has 2 Stargates, he's also going up to 8 gates. He's also using the robotics facility, getting High Templar, getting Charge. Hero is mixing everything in, and right now, I mean, DRG's trying to recover, but he's still down in workers. Right now they are actually even in supplies, as we are going to see a bit of Caustic Spray here, and that's actually going to get rid of the Nexus, so a good use of the Corruptors. But now you have to deal with the counterattack of the air units, and guess what? Roaches, Lings, and Banelings, they don't shoot up! As Hero's going for the killing blow, Archons are going to tank up Baneling hits, and you're absolutely happy with that. As Ravagers are picked up, Void Rays do have to back on up. They're getting a little bit low, and actually these Corruptors can start to chase everything down. DRG is able to collapse on in, cleans up the ground army. And luckily the Corruptors come back in time to be able to help deal with the Void Rays. These two Voids, a bit of a bad rally. They're going to have to try and escape. They have Flux Veins. Unfortunately, that is not enough. As a single Corruptor is focused down. At least trade something back, but DRG finding a great fight there. We're now into a very weird feeling game too, as I don't know, I am just as shocked as everybody else was that Hero GG'd out of that game 1 so early. Again, it kind of makes sense when you think about how he thought the game was going to go from that position. And the fact that he just didn't want to play that out, because again, you know, your Phoenix, it's a lot of micro, it's a lot of effort that you're putting into a game that's probably in a losing position from that point on. But still, very, very surprising. Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, there was such a massive lead for Hero. Such a massive lead. Twilight Council is going to be the choice here for Hero. Not going to go immediately into the Stargate, so we actually might see Glaives in this game. And I think Glaives is definitely a build that Hero has done a bit. He's comfortable with it. I don't know. It's just a situation where the straight up Glaives always makes me just a little bit worried because it's such a heavy commitment to the build. And if it doesn't get damage done, then you're just kind of in a bad position. We'll see if that's the case, but I have to imagine it is with another gateway going down. You're at 3 gates. You're not really going to get charged from this position. There we go. Resonating Glaives on the way for Hero. So we'll be committing pretty much to the 2 base Resonating Glaives from this point on. As there is the 4th gateway. And unfortunately, no Stalker to stop this Overlord from just seeing absolutely everything, which is a bit of a worry because, again, you're going for Glaives, and if DRG sees these additional gateways, he should say, all right, what's up with that? There is something going on here. And DRG does see the gateways, does not scout out for any additional tech, though. So there's just a faint idea for DRG of what is happening. And again, I mean, DRG handled Glaives. The 2 games that it was played, DRG handled Glaives very, very well. So he knows exactly what is going on. He knows how to handle it, as we do have this pylon here for slow warpids across the map with the 4 gateways. So it's a really fast timing attack here from Hero, though. Like, this is so much faster than it would hit if you were going for a Warp Prism, if you were going for anything else. Hero, I mean, this is 430, and you have Resonating Glaive to depths going across the map. I don't know if DRG is going to be ready for this. Shade's going to go through. The Lings are ready for it. We're just not going to commit in quite yet, as it's a double Stargate transition. Oh, baby. Hero really pulling all the stops. There we go. Sees that the Queens aren't with the Lings. It's just going to Shade right on in. He knows that his Adepts can fight this straight up, and they absolutely can. As we're going to need to see a split from the Adepts in the main to help not take as much damage from the Banelings. Actually does a good job of it. Trades decently well against that army as the drones are pulled away from the natural base. Continuing to trade out right now just for Lings is not really completely worthwhile. That's a really good Bane connection. Hero's going to have to back up with those Adepts, and actually has lost most of them at this point. And DRG cleans it up. Hero, no. It's double Stargate, it's +1 Phoenix again, but I don't know about this. Had the Glaive Adepts worked out, you know, maybe. But with them dealing so little damage, losing all of them, it feels as though that is an option that is not going to work out as well as Hero would like. And again, this is going for the surprise factor. It's going for the, oh, well, look at this. I have Phoenixes. Those 3 Adepts actually trade really, really well and get on out. And we're going to see continued Adept pressure. There are 11 drones on the way. And here's the thing. If Hero can get a ton of late Adepts, get +1 Phoenix across the map, he can actually trade really, really well. And those Banelings don't get the best connection. If Hero goes across the map right now, he might be able to find some damage. I mean, he has a lot of Phoenix. He's going to be going up to 8 versus the 8 Queens, but it's 22 Lings on the way. You need a higher Adept count to be able to make this work. It's a bit worrying, but here we go. The Phoenix surprise. Double Stargate out of nowhere, and let's see how DRG does end up handling with his 8 Phoenix. The Queens are just already there, though, and there's enough of them that they can absolutely push back these Phoenix. And these units need to get damage, but there's a Spore Crawler in the main. There are no Queens, however, and so you can just dive on in here and start to find a lot of drone damage. Already 3 going to go down. Hero not going to dive into that mineral line. Is finally going to pick up 2 Queens where there's not enough energy for multiple transfuses, and so we'll be able to knock down those health bars quite quickly. And this is already starting to get to be a decent amount of damage. Transfuses, though, are going to go down. They're actually going to keep them alive, but there we go. 4 lifts come through, and all the Queens are actually going to be dealt with. DRG split them up just a little bit too much, and that means that these Phoenix have full reign of the base. That means that all the Queens are going to go down. There's only a singular one left. And now there's full reign of DRG's main for Hero. But look at this. Lingbane counterattack. Spire is on the way. DRG. Again, these Phoenix are never going to end the game because they can't. They have no way to finish off this game. And so what you do is, oh, that force field. What you do is you just drone up. And these force fields are so good from Hero. Completely denies the Banelings. And now the Phoenix can come back to hold on to this continued aggression from DRG. I mean, this is just, oh, being handled so well. Oh, Hero. He has a supply lead. Hero went for a 430 Adept timing with 4 gates on 2 bases. Lost everything, and now is 30 supply in the lead. Has 10 +1 Phoenix. A 3rd base is even on bases, is only behind 2 workers. This is crazy, and is now going into +1 and Blink, which is absolutely a viable option here because the +1 Blink Stalkers trade a lot better against the Corruptors. They do a lot better against Roaches, so you're not just relying on the Adepts. I mean, this is Hero. Apparently just looked at last game and said, oh, okay, I know what to do now. As now Adepts are coming across the map, it's 130 supply to 105. There is just not a lot of army for DRG. These +1 Phoenix absolutely rip through the Corruptors even with their armor. And now the Adepts are going to shade on in. The lifts are going to come through onto the Queens. And now all the Lings are dead, so the Adepts have full reign of the ground. And those Corruptors are absolutely useless. And Hero, what a game. The adjustments, the fixes to his game style. That's a lot of damage from the Baneling hits, though, but it doesn't matter. Hero is going to take game number 2. As the hatchery block does go down. We're going to be able to see what kind of strategy Hero does end up going for here in game number 3. And I definitely do think it is on Hero right now to kind of mix it up just a little bit. But again, that last game, so good. I mean, the force fields on the initial Lingbane counterattack really just allowed Hero to stay in that game long enough for the Phoenix to get the damage done that they needed. And just very, very well played. I mean, Hero, even the game one, wasn't ahead for most of it until he wasn't and lost. Just looking so, so good right now. And for Hero, the build choice I think is really going to matter. Because again, as I mentioned in the earlier series, Blackburn is a map that really you can do. There's so many options on Blackburn for what you want to do. And so for Hero, really, there's, I think, a lot of openings. And he's going to go immediately for the Twilight Council. And again, if we see the additional gateways being added on immediately, very, very much a sign that this might just be Glaive to Depths again coming out from Hero. And there we go. Glaive to Depths started up. Additional gateway being added on, and we'll see if it's going to be the 4-gate once again. I mean, honestly, Hero could just run back the exact same build, but with a different transition out of it. Because, mind you, a lot of what goes into a best of 5 is taking what players expect you to do and then changing it up and then doing something different, subverting their expectations. As this Overlord is going to see everything. It will see the Glaive to Depths, or at least the research on the Twilight Council. It will see the robotics facility as well, which should be a pretty big giveaway that this is going to be some sort of pressure. And this is a much later Adept build than the one that Hero went for before. I mean, that was hitting at 430. This one will be heading across the map at around 5 minutes 445. Just because you have to have that extra time for the Warp Prism. But it's still going to be, I believe, just the 3-gate blinks, or 3-gate Glaive to Depths. So it's not as much of a commitment. And you have a different transition option, which of course is going to be that robotics facility if you want to go into Immortals, Colossus, or even Disruptors. And then you're applying light pressure with these adapts. And realistically, you're trying to actually force out a really big response for a small amount of units. However, it seems as though DRG kind of correctly realizing, hey, this is not a lot. You don't have a lot across the map right now, and so is not worrying about building too much. Is actually only just now getting 16 links and then continue to go back into droning. So we have units headed across the map right now. Warp Prism, 4 Stalkers inside of it. And a Robotics Bay on the way immediately. 2 more gateways, and I have a feeling that we might not be getting a 3rd base here from Hero. This very much might be a very, very quick timing attack to try and end this with Colossus. And more gateway. Yeah, this is cool. This is really, really interesting. I mean, Hero is just mixing up the build so much. But he's going to add on Colossus because, hey, he knows that DRG likes to go Zerglings to deal with Glaive to Depths. Now that he has Stalkers showing, you're not going to worry about getting Roaches out. He's going to get, I imagine, just a singular or maybe even 2 Colossus. Wait for the second one before he decides to go across the map, but it's going to be committed to pressure. This is definitely going to be a lot of attack going to be coming across the map very, very shortly, and it's a Disruptor follow-up. I am trying to wrap my head around what Hero is doing, as he's going to be able to snipe a Queen with these Stalkers. Picks up from the Warp Prism and gets on out. Here we go. Units are going to walk across the map. The Colossus is looking to join up with its brethren. Now Disruptors are being added on. And Hero looking for the 2-base timing attack. Looking to get the damage done. What is there for DRG right now? Waiting for the Roaches to pop. And then once those get here, obviously will be a much stronger army. But you have the Disruptor Balls. You have the Purification Novas. And those offer so much threat as, uh-oh, Hero, this is a bit of an awkward position. I don't know if you should be here. You don't have Blink. The force fields, though, are so good. It's going to limit the damage, but still so much damage goes down. And that is just absolutely brutal as Hero pushes himself into a corner. And DRG surrounds him. Absolutely crushes that engagement. Gravitic Drive now on the way. Hero looking to get that Warp Prism speed just so he can move a little bit quicker with these disruptors in the Warp Prism. That is in a pretty rough situation. Right now we're looking at 62 workers to 44. I mean, DRG is ahead in every metric right now, in bases, in economy, in army. And pretty soon DRG is going to have Mutalisks. And there is no anti-air. There is none. There is nothing that can shoot up for Hero on the map at this moment. That Disruptor Shot goes out. Actually gets a lot of value. That's the kind of damage that Hero needs right now. It's DRG. And now would love to see those Mutalisks. Could just, honestly, could just win him the game as Roaches push forward. Disruptor Shot is massive. And suddenly, Hero has an almost even army to DRG just from these few Disruptor Shots. As another one gets so much value. One Disruptor is going to go down. Oh, the pickup, though. Just in time as the Colossus getting so much value, trying to get as much damage as possible. More Warpins are going to come through. Disruptors pushing a bit too far forward. One goes down to the Corrosive Vials as another shot goes out. He's actually going to kill an Adept. I mean, Hero has a great angle here to try and fight this. He needs to make it work, but the Colossus goes down, but he still has the Stalkers available. I don't think he can commit in. And at this point, this is it for Hero. One last push, one last attempt. As those Adepts actually complete the shade. They're onto a bunch of Ravagers and trying to find the value, but they're just not trading well against the Roaches. The Ravagers not taking enough damage from them. As DRG's on 4 bases right now, hasn't lost any workers. Sure, he's losing army, but you can trade out army here. You're fine with that. The hatchery is getting a little bit low, though. These Stalkers are doing a whole lot of damage to it. And now 7 Mutalisks are on the way. It's less than 100 supply for Hero. As much as I would love to hype up this game, unfortunately, this is definitely one that feels as though it is just slowly slipping out of out of Hero's control more and more. As it is 27 Stalkers, but guess what? Those 27 Stalkers right now are looking for a push, so they're not going to be able to stop the Mutalisks from getting a ton of damage in the main. And that just means that Hero is even more all in. This is it. This is his final push as, oh, Disruptor Shots are split from beautifully, but the second one finds some damage. It's 96 army supply to 61. We need more Warpins here from Hero. Finally, he's going to warp in more Zealots. No, the Corrosive Vials get a few of the Warpins on the Warp Prism. And Hero's still trying to make this work, though. Forces the Roaches to split. I mean, the Stalkers are still alive. The army supply is dropping, but Hero, he has enough to try and force this. But the Stalkers, there's just not quite enough, I think, with the reinforcements that will come through. With no workers at home, GG. DRG is going to take game number 3. DRG, the OG. The D to the R to the goo. Dongray is his first name. And right now, he is on the path to win this series. I mean, he has looked so good. Both these players looking actually so solid in their play, and it's great to see. And we're going to see the probe harass go down. And Hardwire, it's a map that's very similar to Blackburn in the sense that you can really do anything on it. It's a map where there's a lot of build options, different build orders that you can go, and you're not really limited because of the map, which sometimes you can be. In some maps, there's something like there's a build order you just can't go, or you have to kind of open this way for maximum safety. And Hardwire is definitely not like that. Hardwire definitely has its, I would say, its variety to it, as we are going to be seeing, proxy pylon. Not really a proxy, it's not even halfway across the map, but we will see what is planning to be hidden. It's going to be the immediate Stargate. And so it should be the immediate Oracle coming out from Hero across the map. And luckily, DRG not really being able to get any scouting information. The Overlord has not moved in just yet, I believe. No, we did not see a Stalker first. We're going to see the two Adepts, as we have been seeing Hero do the whole series. And there we go, Oracle on the way. Again, just hidden. DRG, there's no way for him to scout this out. There's no way for him to figure out the fact that it is going to be this fast Oracle coming across the map. And that probe is hidden away. So DRG, not really in the know for anything, and Hero being sneaky. Knowing that, hey, listen, I'm going to have all the cards in my hand. And potentially even do another proxy, but he's just going to bring that probe back. He didn't want to bring it back in a time that would give away that he had proxied any building, which is actually really smart. He waits until the Oracle's already out before he moves it back, because, hey, that way there's no way that DRG can expect there's a proxy, as immediately the drones are going to have to be pulled. Going to start to see this damage already start to go down, and this is pretty serious, as Queens have to be walked all the way from the third base location. Again, because Hero went for the hatchery block, and that's 8 drone kills with the first Oracle. That is quite the bit of damage. As the pylon does go down across the map on the proxy, but the Void Ray managed to find its way out, so Hero already finding some value there, getting out what he needs. As the third Nexus is on the way, lane's going to continue to run around, and DRG definitely on the back foot after that. Not too much, though. Losing 8 workers, it does hurt. It does set you back, but it's not going to be the end of the world. There's 2 more Stargates from Hero. DRG not going to be able to scout it out. And that is really, I think, the biggest deal, as we will see if it's going to be the immediate beacon follow-up, or if it's, in fact, it is going to be double Phoenix once again. Is it? That seems like that's kind of the flavor of the day here for Hero. Box facility, and there we go, double Phoenix. I mean, Hero, he's trying to play the mind games. Says, look, you got rid of my Stargate. What am I going to do? Well, it's definitely not going to be an air unit, but it's going to be double Phoenix, and I imagine Hero once again is going to hide these away as the Adepts do get picked off. Void Ray has to back on up, but 2 Adepts on into the natural, actually finding a whole lot more value than their brethren. 5 drones go down. 2 Adepts now just going to look for more damage. They're going to be able to find it. 7 drones in total. 8 more fall. And 17 drones in total. This has been great harassment from Hero. And losing minimal units for it. As the Phoenix count is continuing to grow. Already going to be almost even with the Queen count after these two pop out. And usually Hero has been waiting for 8 just so he has enough to actually deal with the Queens. But he's going to move out at 6 this time. But now DRG knows immediately the Spire is on the way, and this is actually very, very good for DRG. The fact that the Spire is already on the way, he has his 4th base being established, and these Phoenix already haven't been able to start getting damage. That means he can just focus right now on the droning and getting enough units up to really be able to absorb this pressure. So depths get cleaned up. Queen in the main base is going to get targeted down. Has to use a different Phoenix just so that they don't end up dying to the Spore Crawler. And DRG in this game really has to focus on keeping his Queens together. Has to use the Lings to deal with the harassment on the ground. Those Queens are on Phoenix duty. Here we go, diving back on into the main base. One Queen, once again, is Stray. More drone kills going to start to come through, focusing down on Overlord as well. Phoenix does go down, but you get 5 drones, you get an Overlord, and you're pretty happy with that trade. This hero is once again preparing for a ground transition. 7 gateways. Immortal, Blink, +1. And DRG, this is the information that you really need to scout out, that you really need to see. I mean, he already knows that no more Phoenix are being added on. You would see, more Phoenix would join up if there was going to be a bigger committal. So you don't need a massive Corruptor count here. You don't need to get into like 20, 13, 16 Corruptors. You just need to really focus on scouting right now if you're DRG. And that Ling run by actually sees quite a bit. It sees additional gateways by the 3rd base, and also sees the army composition of Hero. And so DRG right now, he just needs to build up army, but there's just so much for Hero right now to work with. More Roaches on the way. Queens are here. No Banelings, though. That Baneling nest is so late. Oh, that's massive. The Baneling nest is taking so long to get built, and I mean, that's what really allows you to deal with these Stalkers, is the Banelings. But look at this army that Hero is collecting right now. There is so much to work with. As Spore Crawlers are being relocated, the army's going to try and fight straight up for DRG. He does have more supply, but that's because of the worker count. As the Force Fields do get eliminated, the Corruptor's actually fighting straight up very, very well. But now it comes down to the ground army. The Queen's already using their transfuses. Ravagers trying their best with the Blink forward. Hero knows that he has a lot. Hero knows that he probably has enough. As Hero supply starts to drop, the Queens and the Roaches actually fighting extremely well. The air army is going down. DRG, he's holding his own in the air, but is the ground battle not going to go his way? And that is the case. As the drones are being pulled, but there aren't enough Roaches. More reinforcements being brought on over. But drones are going to start to go down. This is where the damage is piling up. GG, we're going to a game 5. And Berlingrad for our last game. And mind you, Berlingrad is a fairly small map rush distance-wise. It is a map that it's very easy to get across it. 3rd base to 3rd base, you are looking at a really, really short rush distance. And so, we'll see. DRG, of course, can absolutely be very, very aggressive. You can absolutely try and get out on the map, And DRG, when he first came back from his service, which was, 2 years ago at this point, his style was the Ling Bane Roach Ravager. Just constantly overwhelming, swarming his opponent with constant pressure. And that's definitely a style that can still work. But I think recently has much more kind of taken towards a more conservative approach to it. playing that defensive Zerg style, playing towards absorbing damage from his opponents. That's a robotics? What? That's a robotics facility first. Disruptor drops? Is this gonna be disruptor drops? I don't know if there's any other reason to go a robotics facility first unless you're going for disruptor drops. Or, I mean, or even I guess to clean up overlords as well with stalkers. No! Oh, there we go. Robotic support bay on the way. You know what that means. Guys, we're getting disruptor drops. Ooh. Now, DRG will see that this is a very early warp prism unless Hero hides it. So, that's going to be a very big tell for DRG. And, of course, the disruptor drops are not going to end the game, but if you are not ready, they can absolutely snowball it out of control. This robotics bay is getting close to finishing out. I believe that is the warp prism heading across the map, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, with the 2 adepts, is going to be used for harassment, and then it will come back to retrieve its 2 disruptors later. As you can be a lot more liberal with your usage of the adepts right now. You see immediately there, the shade in causes the drone pull, and then it just picks them up and gets on out. It's going to try and find some kills here in the main. Doesn't want to lose any more than a bit of the shields before getting on out. And now disruptors are in production, gateways as well. Hero, he knows exactly what he wants to do and how he wants to do it. But the adepts here might just be sacrificed to try and find drone kills, and they will be. 5 in total going down for 2 adepts. Is a trade that you really will take as Hero. You are very, very happy with that. The recall is popped, and now you go collect your 2 disruptors, and guess what? It's also 6 gateways. It might be a game 5, but that does not stop Hero from believing that he cannot all-in you to death. Colossus are the follow-up, and this is about to get very, very exciting, as everything is going to be on the line right now for Hero. He's putting all of his eggs into this basket. All of his Purification Novas into this basket. And let's see if it's going to work out. Here we go. Warp Prism across the map. Immediately disruptors are dropped out. They're going to look for the kills onto the Queens. Only managed to find 1. Oh, almost loses the disruptor, but manages to get it out. Hero's still looking for an angle here. Manages to find one with a high health disruptor. Just gets the Queen low because he knows he's preparing for, I mean, a very, very large attack behind this. Is uh-oh. Unfortunately, that is quite bad as looks like it did have a lag spike. As this should have sorted itself out, I think. You're going to see as the countdown's going down. Okay, we're going right back into the game. I did have a bit of lag spike there. That is all right, though. We are right back into it. No issues. And that means that Hero's ready for his attack. He has Disruptors, he has a Colossus, he has Stalkers. Everything coming together right now for the DPG Protoss to try and get the win in this series with this build. And he's going to look for the kill onto the Queens. Does manage to get them low. The Colossus getting so much value in the back, being able to, I mean, just absolutely melt through a lot of these Lings, but the Corrosive Biles are getting so much value. It might not matter, though, as the Adepts are being warped in. Stalkers in the back being used just to clear through these armored units. The Colossus still alive. The Adepts now into the main base. Hero going to have to start to micro this just a little bit more as the Roaches have been added on. And it doesn't look like he's going to be able to end the game with this push. DRG just has so much. The Adepts trying to find value, trying to get damage. And only 2 drones go down, and this has been a disastrous build. An execution for Hero where he obviously had a clear idea, and it just has not worked out. He's trying just to find damage here with this Colossus. He knows that it's pretty much hopeless. I mean, he gets 3 drones with 1 swing of it, but Recall's going to come through. 126 supply to 75. 2 bases to 3, and Hero's going to try and take a third here, but again, this is a very similar situation to that game 4. Or that game 3. Where it feels as though this game might just slowly start to spiral out of control for Hero. Supply Council going down. Spire is on the way. DRG getting ready to transition into Mutalisk again. So good at just harassing the Protoss when you're ahead, getting that advantage even larger. As Disruptor drops are still being used here. Hero still just trying to find value wherever he can. Oh, that shot! And quite a bit of value. 3 drones, a whole bunch of roaches. That's that Ravager. The corpse just hangs out on top of the extractor. And Hero's gonna look for another push. He needs to. He needs to find damage, he knows it. And the army supplies are pretty even. I mean, there's a good chance this might work out, but there's just so many Ravagers. The Disruptor gets sniped, and that just might be, I mean, too much. There is so much Zerg here. The Ravager is going to try and dive on top of everything. Sure, the Colossus gets damage done, but you don't even have +1 with it. And these Biles get so much value. Hero, though, trying to turn it around, knows that there's just the Ravagers left. They don't have the bulk of the roaches to protect them. Still, though, Hero just not dodging these Biles is taking so much damage from them. He loses so much to that set of them. The Colossus goes down, and DRG has been getting insane value out of these ability casts from his Ravagers. As Hero is still trying to make this work, but he is all in. 10, 12 more roaches on the way, and that will absolutely be able to punch through the rest of these units for Hero. As this Zealot's trying to fight straight up, but there is nothing left. Charge lots coming through, but that is just not enough. There is so much Zerg. Hero, a valiant effort, but DRG should just be able to march this across the map. That's absolutely what he's going to do. As 11 Mutalists on the way, and at the very least, these Roaches and Ravagers do not kill Hero. Feels like the Mutalists should. 12 of them, and the anti-air is 1 Stalker. Hero, I mean, he went for it. He put everything into that attack, into this aggression, and it just didn't work out. And that's the unfortunate part of making a gamble like that, is that it might just not work out. As DRG, I think, has enough army right now to both deal with what's on the ground, and, well, also has the Mutalists to deal with what's in the sky, and also harasses. GG is called. DRG gonna be able to take this one 3-2. He wins the Super Series for today.